Sweet Playin'. Welcome back, all you four-color funny book aficionados. This is US Comics Cast, HQ for all things comic book related. We are John and Charlie Rivera, co-founders of US Comics. Charlie, happy comic book day, brother. Nope, can't hear a damn word you're saying. You are muted like you read about.
Happy Comic Book Day to you, sir, and happy Comic Book Day to all of you joining us live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. Make sure you get involved in the conversation by liking, following, subscribing, and commenting the whole show long, because we'll throw you up on the board. We might even invite you into the show. But John,
Yes?
a Comic Book Day and a Comic Book Day without you, baby. How are you doing today?
I mean, just prior to all that unauthorized content, I was very, very good. But all of that good was nothing compared to the news that has been dropping all over the comic book landscape. I was shaken, I was chagrined, I was shook up. But as strong of a reaction as I had to the absolute pandemonium coming from Detective Comics, and I know you were a little shook up as well. Our collective crybabiness activation was nothing compared to one man. Me and this dude go back years and years and years. Some people might call him the preeminent authority on Barbara Gordon, even before she couldn't walk, and then she could, and then she couldn't again. There's all kinds of crazy shit happening to her. Some people might call him Sugar Bear. I call him Jason Allen. Let's bring him in. Yeah.
Happy Comic Book Day. Hi.
Happy Comic Book Day.
Happy Comic Book Day. Thank you for that intro. The eminent.
I want you to write it down. I want you to use it
I will.
in all
I will
of
have
your
it plaqued
bios.
and put on my license plate. It'll be awesome.
Appropriately. So, look, we really appreciate you joining us, knowing that you are that you are just in deep sorrowful mourning right now. Oh, look, just dry the tears. Oh, that's an HD camera. Dry the tears.
It's scary because literally, like, I've had friends. Like, my friend came down from work. He's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I heard they canceled Batgirl." Like, everyone's walking on eggshells around me. It's sad. It's sad. Like, and my boyfriend is like, "Is there anything I can do?" I'm like, "Kill Ezra Miller." Like, it's
Now, to be fair, the US Comics brand does not endorse killing Ezra Miller.
No, we don't.
Yeah,
endorse
they
that.
will drag us right the hell in. Ugh.
A maiming
We love
would be
them.
okay.
We love them.
Just for the record, to add on to that laundry list of nicknames for good old Sugar Bear, I always like to call him the leg man to Barbara's wheels. So together they're Wheels and the Leg Man, which I'm hoping is coming to cinemas soon.
Don't put that out there, because DC will also cancel that. Bastards. Yes. Joker Stream joining us over from Twitch. What's up, Joker?
Oh.
Joker is volunteering personally. Look, we're looking in your direction right away. The second that anything happens to the Bat family, there comes Joker, just ha-ha-haing through the way.
I threw a couple shekels Joker Stream way on Twitch because I wanted to get a nice new hype or whatever Joker needs to handle this business.
Ellis is joining us over on the Facebook feed. Yes, he is watching the show currently with his puppy friends Jet and Shay. Dynamite names, if I do say so myself. Of course they can get a shout out. As long as they ultimately agree with my opinions on the subject. But look, for anybody who does not know as of yet, shame on you, because this is all anybody who's even remotely interested in four-color funny books has been talking about recently for the last few days. DC / Discovery has gone on
Warner Brothers / Discovery.
Yeah, Warner Brothers. Thank you.
No problem.
And it's very funny too because the first time that this is gonna be like, where were you when Princess Di died? Where were you
when Batgirl got canceled?
when they announced that Batgirl, literally they're like, Batgirl got canceled. My reaction was like, what did she do? Like, did she call out a celebrity? Did she detonate somebody on her own damn show? What did she do to get canceled? Like, nah, son, not canceled that way. I could not personally believe it. But we'll throw it right to our guest, Jay. When you got this,
when I got the devastating news,
terrible news. He's been waiting for forever, decades.
Well, like, again, one of my favorite characters. You gotta love. I mean, especially the Gail Simone run. You can't top that. It was like one of the only good things from the New 52. It was like literally one of the only good things from the New 52. We all remember that in 2011.
Babs and Vibe. The only two good things that come out of the New 52.
Vibe came back. We're all happy about that. And, it was a great run. Awesome. And then they kind of made her, I guess, 10 to 20 years younger. But
Nothing
she's a great
wrong
character.
with that. They did some things.
She did something. She had some work done by Babs Tarr, which was awesome. But yeah, like I was all excited. And the fact that...
again. I'll be right back.
Okay, you have fun. The fact that, one... She was, I believe, Afro-Latina, I think, which is fantastic.
She was from, the actress had just finished doing,
In the Heights. She was fantastic.
In the Heights, yeah, Dynamite.
Looked
great in the costume. And they were rocking, like, the more, it was, to me, if I had just seen that image, particularly of this particular girl, gussied up that way, I would have thought, that's some Dynamite freaking cosplay.
That is her. That
is
it
like
doesn't
dead on what she looks like in the comic books right now.
Exactly. It doesn't matter what nationality she is. Just she was.
She has
Babs.
red hair. I don't care if it's like her naturally red hair. It could be part of the costume, which would kind of make sense.
I think it was a weave. I don't know. I'm only gay. We can clock a weave at 15 paces. But again. She was fantastic. She looked fantastic. I saw, dailies behind the scenes. She looked great. And the fact is, she was going to be a representation, an Afro-Latina. Little girls were going to see her.
Shocking news. And it wasn't as if they just started filming. It wasn't as if that this had been just storyboarded. This movie was basically fucking
90%
in the
done.
can. In the can. 90%, $90 million having been spent. Charlie, what were you going to say?
It's the lunacy of everything going on cannot be overstated. 90 million bucks, 90% done. The last female-led movie that was released in cinemas raked in the cash with questionable quality. I happen to love Captain Marvel. I love the actor. I love the movie. Made a fortune. Wonder Woman 1, which was in theaters, made a fortune. We were giving the argument of what do people want. Bat Family, check. A new bit of representation on the big screen, check. Fucking Batgirl with Michael Keaton playing Batman. That's the dorks. That's the nerds. That's the people with want representation. That's the ladies. Who the fuck wasn't gonna see it?
That's the geezers who haven't come out to see any of these like newfangled super movies in like decades and decades. This movie checked so many fucking boxes. And you know what? Someone did mention like tax write-offs. Yeah, but you know what? There's ways to go about that, and like there's ways to not go about that. The level of distrust that this new Warner Brothers Discovery entity has generated from this move is unlike anything I've ever seen, especially in this game.
The same guy.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was going to just say I agree with you. It's insane. David Zaslav is literally pissing people off left and right, and now he's got the 10-year plan, which we don't know anything about. But again, I have some scoops here and there from what I've learned online, of course, because I'm that nerdy. But it's but like he's bringing back Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman. Who are they going to be?
The
you know?
fucking the trilogy. What a novel idea.
Yeah,
Like,
we're
who
gonna
would have
focus
possibly
on
thought?
Superman,
Yeah,
Batman, and
let's
Wonder
go
Woman.
ahead and do this world building off of your three fucking most popular. What a genius! I'm so lucky to have you at the big table.
Exactly.
What an asshole.
But
Charlie,
this
I'm
is
sorry.
also
What were you saying, brother?
no. This guy, you don't ever have to apologize to me, baby. I'm not the douchebag making these decisions. So you yell at me all you want.
All right.
This fucking notion. Two things I just want to address. This is the guy who killed CNN's online platform. So he doesn't believe in the online model. I'm sorry, I'm going to add a third. Number two, HBO Max almost inarguably is only rivaled by Netflix as far as their importance in this new landscape that
But
they're
also,
now seemingly...
also their volume, because here one might argue with you, Charlie, that one isn't me, but I heard them talking, and what they said was, well, to be fair, Amazon is spitting out fire projects, especially comic book superhero related type projects. And they are far from the only streamers. I mean, now we're at the point where the major networks, when TVs only used to have 3 damn channels, all of them have like a plus version. Disney naturally is fucking obviously doing Disney, Marvel, whatever. They're doing their thing. But like,
Star Wars.
just to be speaking of the same, to be in that group, to be listed in that group, you're not getting pushed the fuck out. Yeah, obviously they have financial problems that they stepped into. I mean, otherwise, why you don't do a merger? You do an acquisition. I mean, anybody who's watched fucking Wall Street from like the 80s knows about acquisitions. But you know what?
always
Just
saw
to
the
address,
sequel, Money Never Sleeps.
then you know what, Charlie, you're on a
So I
5-minute timeout. We'll be back to you in a moment. So cousin Paul's chirping in from YouTube. Thank you for joining us. We got all the networks covered ourselves right here. Paul's dropping in with an: is it possible that Batgirl was a $90 million dumpster fire in the making? My answer to you, Paul, would be this: yeah, absolutely, that was a distinct possibility. However, major movies that we all have seen and now love and appreciate have certainly been in that predicament. And with these are not movies that are like handed in, oh, here you go, it's done, and then they started testing it, and then they're like, nope, this sucks, change this, change this, change this. It was more about them saying, you know what, this is it, we're not spending another fucking dime on this project, because ultimately I think they just want a strong restart. Charlie had mentioned that this cat is not a fan of the streaming model. He's actually come out.
Not a fan of the streaming.
He's come out and said, like, look, all of our new content is not going to be in the form of streaming projects.
Can I just interject about the?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, the dumpster
I don't
fire.
like it.
But the fact that it could be dumpster fire. Does anybody remember Catwoman? Seriously, the Halle Berry drama Catwoman or Morbius? Anybody?
Twice!
They released it twice.
They released it twice!
Morbius came to us twice, and was it good? No.
No, it was
not at all.
terrible.
It wasn't even a movie.
We have this model that Charlie and I try to stick to, but it's just our personal thing. Like we don't make anybody else stick to it. Where when we were talking about projects, it wasn't about like, oh, this was great, oh, this sucked ass. It's really more about like, this just wasn't for me, or I love this, or I like this, whatever. I am going to go ahead and put out an overrule of our own rule and say Morbius fucking sucked. And I don't mean in the proverbial vampire state. It was a terrible movie.
It was a homoerotic nightmare. It was just, I don't know who they
and
were
even
trying
that was bad.
That was bad. Gay people were like, no, we're not going. There's a girl in this. They gave her 5 lines. We're not going to believe that they're gay.
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
A different. Oh, I'm sorry.
I cannot get over the fact that there's even, and all respect to Cousin Paul, the notion of quality meaning a goddamn thing in this day and age.
It was a throwaway line. It was
laughable.
a throwaway line. And honestly, it was really more of like we'll let that rumor linger. We won't come out in defense of the material because that would put some take away any luster that the merger had when they're talking about but future projects. Because here's the thing too. Forget about the fans, and obviously DC has done a very good job for many years now forgetting about the fans. So that ain't gonna be a problem for them. Forget about us. What about just singularly the people who worked on this fucking project? Is there anybody, well, Jason, but is there anybody more than Jason who's more upset than fucking my man from the Mummy movies and
Brendan
Fraser. It was like one of his comeback movies.
They
said his performance was awesome.
Pulp Fiction. Like, Pulp Fiction is to Travolta as Batgirl was gonna be.
But
Brendan Fraser.
guys,
like,
you're losing the thread because Brendan Fraser hasn't been a huge part of the kind of media the last 2 years. He's not on some
we're
sort
having
of
a Brendan
momentous
Fraser renaissance.
It's not, and also not for nothing.
And it's a good.
I
want Encino Man too.
But what I really want is fucking finally we want to talk about representation. All respect due to my Afro-Latino sister. How about chubby motherfuckers getting to be villains and heroes? Let's go! I had my Firefly cosplay ready to go. Let's get chubby with it. What are you fucking doing to me?
So my question to you is this, because this. Unfortunately, Batgirl.
Blast from the Past is underrated. This is now a Blast from the Past podcast.
Starring Alicia Silverstone, the Batgirl from Batman
and Robin. The last time that Alicia Silverstone
holy shit.
was like, not talking about like regurgitating food up for babies and like doing all kinds of crazy shit. So for me, that's the Blast from my past. But I would say this, considering the fact that the last time that I can think of a level of completion of a project never seeing the light of day. Cousin Paul, it's ironic that you brought it up, because the only thing that I could compare this to is the original we gotta make this movie or we lose the rights Fantastic Four. Who the VHS bootleg copy was owned by our very own Sugar Bear right here. Am I lying, Jason?
Oh, that's
did you,
right.
Or did you not have a VHS copy
I did.
of
I
that
think we watched it.
Rubber-thinged disaster of a movie?
Best
Here's
looking
the thing,
thing
the
in
script
cinema.
wasn't that bad.
Best
It was
looking thing to ever hit the cinema.
You want to talk about your pronouns? You got to be careful of saying the best looking thing to him, is because without the proper punctuation, they're like, "Yo, this kid's gone crazy."
No, but
out of focus,
but it was
like a monster.
Okay, yes or no? The script was better than all our previous, like, what was it, Fan Four Stick? That interesting movie.
I mean, listen,
it was interesting.
I will never disrespect the Fantastic Four simply because Jessica Alba is a delight. Captain America was on fire and shit.
Yeah,
the other guys were there.
It was
Michael
fine.
loves chiclet gum. The whole cast. The bottom.
Jessica Alba's wig was a star. It was amazing.
A wonderful star. I need to know though, Sugar Bear specifically.
Did you
hope?
Did you see my Paul? Sorry, Paul. It had to happen, man.
Paul, best Fantastic Four movie. Not even fucking close.
See right away. Charlie's got to get all aggressive.
I'm sorry. Facts are
Unbelievable.
fucking facts. I need to know, my delightful Sugar Bear. Do you even think that I very sincerely love Vibe? I don't know if I'll ever see Vibe not on Flash TV, because even that felt like a miracle. Do you even see a
miracles
path?
are never evil.
Do you even see a path back to Babs?
Do I see a path back to Babs? Yes. And because, I mean, we do have the Robert Pattinson universe, and we have the best Commissioner Gordon ever. And I love J.K. Simmons. I love me some J.K. Simmons. He is also, but J.K. Simmons was like ripped Commissioner Gordon.
He really was.
He's like,
he's all jacked.
brother.
I thought he was gonna smack him like a fucking drum player. I'm like,
he
God
was.
damn,
He was like,
don't make the commission angry.
Listen here, Joker. You don't
J.K.
need
Simmons
to worry about the bat.
is a presence. He's amazing. Like,
Sure.
the man can sing, he can dance. We praise J.K. Simmons. But in the Batman, who was our Commissioner Gordon?
And I mean, sometimes he's a robot, but he's always a
But-
fucking delight.
But again, another fantastic actor, and apparently, it's going to time jump at one point. They have to bring the rest of the knights in. Barbara, Dick, Tim, they got to show up at one point.
Those movies. So let's rewind a little bit. I think we're all in agreement that this is just an absolute disaster
Tragic.
of wheelchair proportions to what they did to poor Barbara yet again.
But it's not just her. We can't forget about Sasha Kaye.
It's not even just the individuals in that particular project, because a very near and dear creator to our hearts, Mr. Kevin Smith. He was on his is that a podcast, Charlie?
It is
the Hollywood
Fat
Babylon?
Man Beyond with Mark Bernard.
No, it wasn't on Fat Man Beyond. It was on Hollywood Babylon.
Hollywood Babylon
So
with not Mark Bernardin.
So he had been speaking about when Warner Brothers came to him with this like new project and with a fat paycheck. He said, "Really? Like really? This is what you want me to do?" Like, and I'm gonna paraphrase poorly, but the basic gist of it was, he's like, "Well, yeah, projects like this." He had directed several episodes of the Supergirl TV show over on whatchamacallit on Channel 11.
CW.
Bye bye.
they-
That's gone too.
They were talking to him about this new project, a streaming series project called
Adam Strange.
Strange Adventures, and it was going to be an anthology series. And they were like, "Look, this is what we're going to be doing. We want you involved. Here's a check for like $16 million." He's like, "What?" And they said, "Here's a list of characters, and the idea was, it's going to be characters who are not, Holy Trinity type characters, who are not like A-listers, not Justice League level characters, B characters, even C characters. Might I say, like Iron Man was before Favreau
Iron Man
fucking
was
did his
basically a
magic trick?
C-list at that point.
Unbelievable. So they said, "Okay, here's the list. You take first crack at it." He said, "No. I want this guy and I want this guy." And he proceeded to write a dynamite script, an amazing show that I would have, an episode, Charlie, did we lose Charlie? That I would have loved watching. And the short version of it was, he wrote a Bizarro, like an alternate origin of Bizarro. You were going to get Superman in it, and like the last 5 seconds of the show. Jimmy Olsen also. And again, go over to Hollywood Babylon. I think it was their 400th episode. Not that they need us to promote them, but go watch it. Everyone listening and watching here. But the description of the episode was like, fucking brought tears to me. I was like, "Oh, god damn it, that was beautiful." And the ultimate like boomstick at the end of the pitch was, you know who they were going to have playing Bizarro?
Who?
Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage was finally going to be able to put the cape on. Granted, the S would have been backwards. Like, that's Kevin Smith. That's what happens when you have a fan behind the fucking wheel. So we lost Strange Adventures. We lost Wonder Twins. We lost the Green Lantern show.
Wonder Twins? I mean,
Wonder Twins, yeah.
That was ended before it started. Was like, one day you have Wonder Twins.
But that was one of those like that was like the initial action, like before a war starts. They're like, "Oh, let's just go ahead and send out some scouting parties and this skirmish here and there." And that's how they fucking do it. They say, "You know what? Let's axe this, let's axe that, little things here and there, and we'll see what the reaction is like." And because we as fans did not fucking raise our voices and hashtag the tits out of it, they're like, "Okay, you know what? Next, who's the next hitter that we can go ahead and fucking cross off the list?" It's goddamn bullshit. So my question to you guys is, what's gonna happen to a undebatable streaming hit like Peacemaker? Because that's a streaming show. It's expensive. And they're like, "Oh, that's safe. Yeah, but we heard that before. There's Peacemaker. There's this disaster of a fucking Ezra Miller running around out there. And also Harley Quinn is an expensive animated fucking thing, but it's streaming and it's out there."
But here's the thing. For the first month, like this month, I would take everything that comes out of Zaslav's mouth or any gossip as like a grain of salt. We're like no project is safe for the next 2 months, including Blue Beetle,
Later,
including like any the Green Lantern series we were waiting for. Nothing is safe. I'm not gonna believe one thing for like about
Well,
2
yeah,
months.
because they've said
You need some time.
They've said Blue Beetle safe. Okay, let me see
Okay,
it
we'll
then.
see.
They've said Black Canary is safe. I would go out, and if it was legal to put money on a project not coming out, the same way you can go put fucking money on the Knicks, I would do it. That there's no fucking shot Black Canary gets made.
No, Black
I
Canary,
don't
and
think
unfortunately,
there's any shot at all.
and she was one of the best parts of Birds of Prey, which she's a fantastic actress. She was great in the role.
That wasn't really too tough to do. Charlie, what were you gonna say?
I hope she hears you, John.
It's fine. She probably is watching.
She's watching.
Charlie, you're muted, buddy.
What's diabolical about everything that's going on? Just 2 quick points and then my real point. It scored a 60 when an audience finally saw it with its like fucking temp music, temp effects. It scored a 60.
Wait, what are we talking about? Wait, what scored a 60? I'm sorry.
They tested it. They tested the unfinished version where they plugged in like CGI shot. Like the audience knew it wasn't a
Shazam
completely
2
finished project.
Shazam 2 scored a 60%.
Yep, as did Black Adam.
Black Adam scored a 60%.
Yep.
Hey kids, those scoring at home, they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
No.
So we can't talk again. We don't need to talk about good, bad, or indifferent.
It's not about the quality of the projects. Anybody? I mean, the funny thing is nobody has actually said that. It's only been the murmuring.
Yeah.
They've allowed it to be said. They haven't come out and said that is absolutely not why this project has been shelved. And like
If
now,
you're
But
it's gonna
for a
be
reason, can I
the
just
bootleg
throw
to
something
get.
in there? I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt, guys.
Yeah, go
but
ahead.
just one of the things that confused a lot of the audience members who were non-comic book people was the fact that fucking Michael Keaton showed up in this new Batgirl movie when everybody knows it's supposed to be Batfleck. So a lot of people were confused by the whole Michael Keaton thing. Again, he's in 5 scenes.
I don't know, like,
none of
what
us.
version, like, what variation of the DC, universe, the cinematic universe, is that a part of? Because that version there was a Robin. That version is like almost dystopian by the time that we're introduced to it. Also, it was not necessarily from what I know, from what I've read and whatnot, that it wasn't going to be like necessarily an origin story. It was going to be like a turning point for the fucking character.
They did base a little bit on Gale's run, and they did a little bit of Batgirl Year One on that one, the movie.
Everybody knows the best way to make a solid project that's cohesive is take a little bit of this, take a little bit of that,
of course,
smash it together. Yeah, just read Frankenstein. Everything.
You know what
you
know what you definitely shouldn't do. You shouldn't hire someone like Gale to bring that character into the real world. You should never hire comic book. We're not going to.
Oh, she didn't write it. She didn't write it. Gail Simone. I was referencing her new 52 run. It was based on that.
I'm being wildly sarcastic. Because you should use fucking comic book writers who knows these characters better, but also as well as at some point, DC, Warner Brothers, Discovery, Apple, Disney Plus, whatever the fuck this conglomeration monster is going to be.
Well, that was the whole Wonder Woman. That was the whole Wonder Woman 1984 fiasco. The fact that she didn't have a comic book writer on Wonder Woman 2. The comic book writer that was hired for the first one. That's why it was so good.
I don't even know comic book writers that watched it. They're like, fuck this. Get the hell out of here.
But 1984 was abominable. It was
terrible.
Just take the fucking L at this point, Warner Brothers. Stop pretending that you can handle a shared sandwich, let alone a universe. I've been saying it for over a decade. Every movie, you get fucking the 38 producer logos, right? Terrible. Then you should get one thing that goes, this is part of the Snyderverse. This is part of the Jokerverse.
Well,
this is some made up shit because they can't
fucking handle.
A million
fucking different versions. So you have the Batman fucking universe going on. You have the Joker universe coming on, where like the sequel to that, which should never have gotten a sequel.
Nope.
Like that's a movie that ends. You're like, Great, thank you. They didn't make
exactly.
fucking
We
Taxi
ju-
Driver 2.
No, we don't need.
I'm
We don't.
hard
And it's a
to
musical.
use.
And it's a musical.
Oh, with Lady Gaga.
I'm back in.
Lady Gaga.
Now
Gaga.
wait,
It
I can
is-
fix it. Joker 2, the musical, starring the Muppets.
I would watch that.
I would watch it. But the funny thing is,
Oh no,
we're-
it's Batman! Ah!
we're all dummies because we sit here and we pine and we sit here and we complain and we sit here and we fucking project our opinions. But we all three know we're gonna watch whatever the fuck
yeah.
they put out.
Well, true.
We're gonna
Well,
put
true.
out
But
whatever the
I'm gonna
indies
get a
put out.
bootleg of
But-
Batgirl.
We're
I am too. Like, I don't know who I have to get one, but send me some names.
Your boyfriend
internet-
is 7
And he's
foot
watching
three,
this.
You-
I'm gonna be.
268.
Cody's gonna be
He's
like,
just gonna
I
demand
gotta
it.
get me a
He's-
copy of that.
He's got. Yeah.
So
No,
internet,
he's
you
like
have
the
been
kind of
put
guy.
on notice. The offer is out there.
The offers. No.
Yeah.
But like, you got to remember that.
Slapped in America.
The best
Once
name.
again, you need
Best
a Facebook
comment.
slapped in. The amount
Yeah.
of gifts I'm gonna mail you. DCEU out here with more personalities than Moon Knight on a PCP bender. Slapped in,
Dynamite.
slapped in.
That's the comment of the topic. So I'm gonna just say this as we automatically win overtime. Which is fine.
Because
Um,
there's just so much to it.
If Warner Brothers / Discovery, if they put something out tomorrow, and they say, "Oh, here is our 10-year plan," like Comic-Con style, we'll lay it out, we'll do graphics the whole 9 yards. They could put commercials that play during the World Series that the Mets are going to be in, the Super Bowl that the Mets might also be in for some reason, like every fucking major show that's on network TV, not streaming because we don't like streaming over here. And they say, look, this is our plan, this is the cohesive fucking mapping of what's going on here. I would look them straight in the face and say, sirs, you are a goddamn liar. Just like that toy boy, George Lucas. Because the truth is, Han shot first. Put him up, J-Bear. Put him up.
There you go.
Clinky, clinky. I
Clink.
salute. Post him out for Batgirl, too.
Oh, that's awful.
We've got 2 men down. 2
Yeah.
men down. Like
I'm
someone
okay.
dumped Barbara out of her wheelchair.
Hey,
2
but-
men down. So, yeah. So, that obviously, there's plenty more griping to be done on this topic. And the sad thing is, all jokes aside, the fallout is still happening. There's still constant news. So, it doesn't take a fucking genius or a Nostradamus to know we're going to be talking about more of this fallout again in future episodes. But again, chat, if you're there, anyone watching or listening to this a week from now, feel free to hit us up, DM us with your personal opinions, recommendations, fucking theories that you might have, because it is just a goddamn bloody mess on the Warner Brothers Discovery landscape. But I'm going to go ahead and restart this. And Charlie, why don't you move us on in a more positive light?
We're gonna get positive because I am fucking positive that action movies need to only star ladies now. We've had fucking a
fine.
billion years of fellas that I can barely the fuck understand. No, what I want is a beautiful, strong, badass fucking broad fighting monsters that will hide those muscular motherfuckers in. I saw Prey, and I fucking pray for 17 motherfucking more of these films.
That's the same word spelled different.
Predator is fucking back, and he's shitting his metal pantaloons because when you told me there was going to be a direct-to-Hulu Predator movie, I made fart sound effects for 6 months because that's the dumbest fucking shit I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. Then I was told, like, oh, don't worry, it was a Fox picture. And I went,
And they didn't believe it.
The studio that brought you Morbius twice brings you Lady Predator. Go fuck. What's that? What is she doing? Is she doing the mud scene? This fucking movie
Oof.
kicks so much fucking ass
Literally.
instantly.
Ellis,
Let me
you
just-
have to. Ellis, stop watching this.
Yeah.
Save up your hilarious commentary and get back to the replay because it is so fucking good. It's so good. Charlie, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I literally was beside myself from moment one. I was on vacation in Maine. It was a beautiful night. I'm dolo, about to fall sleepy sleep. And I said, let me throw in this piece of shit. Right? It took 48 seconds. First of all, not since John Wick have I been this nervous for a puppy in my life. And that puppy
Spoiler free,
had
spoiler
lats.
free, spoiler free, spoiler
There's
free.
a puppy.
That pup was the goodest boy. Oh,
That
my
puppy,
God.
first and first mostly, took orders like a Marine. Secondly, was the most jack dog I ever saw. At one point, our heroine of the film is like, first of all, that dog knows 6 languages. Secondly, also knows Kamachi sign language. At one point, she's like,
like a
And
word?
this dog is like, oh, fuck, I got you, fam. This fucking, it was like a buddy cop film. This movie had something for everyone, including people. The one
Well,
thing
Just real
before I
quick,
kick
Charlie.
it to you, John.
Well, no, just really quick because
Yeah.
I don't think we really even established. Yeah, absolutely, female-led action. This is undeniably the prequel to the Predator that we all knew we needed, but we didn't know this was the flavor of the one we were gonna get. So you have a Predator land 300 years on Earth prior to the events of Arnold and company, Arnold and fucking Apollo Creed and the Governor. Like what a lineup. At one point it was supposed to be Jean-Claude Van Damme in the Predator suit. Like that was like Expendables prequel technically. But yeah, so all this happens 300 years before that. So you can imagine there are certain differences, but yeah, only because we never really said it, Charlie.
Sure.
So go
It's
ahead.
also, and again, I'll keep it as spoiler free as possible. It's the most basic story. It literally is like, yo, a predator showed up, and there's this broad who wants to prove herself, and she's gonna prove herself by fucking fighting a predator. And my pants flew off my body. I didn't touch them. They flew off my body with how fucking excited I was. I wound up with war paint on, going back to my Taino heritage.
Charlie took his pants with some like handmade fucking rope, and he was doing the axe trick. He's like, "Hoo pants,
Yeah.
hoo pants."
The
I don't know. I didn't see it, but right now I'm like, so it's like Action Moana, basically.
it is fucking action Moana.
It's as if
Only the dog is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
It's as if the White Devils never showed up in Pocahontas, and she finally said, "You know what? Fuck this shit. I'm gonna do it myself." And instead of the ships of traders, a predator landed, and she would have gone in with her raccoon and her old grandmother tree and straight fucked shit up.
I would have been like,
Prey.
take my fucking money to watch that Disney movie. I would have been like,
Well,
here
the
you
great
go.
thing
I want to
about
see
it
Grandmother
was-
Willow.
It's on Hulu, so like you're probably paying for other shit anyway.
I
It
am
is
1,000,000%.
such a good flick.
There's one action sequence towards the end of the film that I'm absolutely throwing in the Wonder Woman theme. Because after that last Wonder Woman film, She Don't Deserve It No More, I'm giving it to Homegirl from Prey. Because there's one scene where it's ba-da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, oh shit, oh shit. I like woke people up in the house. I called my dog Jameson. I'm like, motherfucker, we're hunting shit when I get home. The care put into this film. A white guy wrote it. A white guy directed it. So we can officially put to bed that people who aren't a thing can't elevate a fucking thing. Like that, the director and the writers gave an opportunity for a culture to be fucking so well represented that I watched the film thrice. Once with the normal dubbing, which is English with a little bit of Kamachi, which I'm probably saying wrong.
Comanche.
Then I watched that version again.
Charlie's like, ooh, she was a real Hachi Kamachi.
Yeah.
Comanche.
I found my pants. I watched it again with pants on. And then they were like, here's your Comanche. How do you say it?
Comanche.
Comanche dub. And I watched that shit like it was art house, except in the fucking periodically, shit just gets torn apart. Oh, there are some satisfying scenes, Sugar Bear. There are some scenes that are so satisfying.
I loved how you went satisfied, and you're looking at me like, as the only homosexual in the room, there are shirtless men. And I'm like, thanks for including me.
I think
thank
it's
you so
more
much.
like he's like, so Sugar
I'm
Bear.
glad to be seen.
Sugar Bear, there's an actual grizzly bear, so it's like I guess your cousin maybe. I think
It
that's
is.
probably. He's like,
It might have
"Ooh,
been Cody in a costume. Was it
Jay
Paul?
probably knows this guy.
But can I just?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Just want to add a little trivia.
Do
It's
it.
so funny. Just to harken back to our previous. This was a movie that was not believed in by Fox, and I'm like, we'll just fucking put it on Hulu. No one's gonna care.
Man, Fox
And
has
meanwhile,
such
with
good
Batgirl,
taste.
they could do the exact same thing. Just put it
course.
on streaming, release it at Christmas.
Look,
Boom.
they're fully intent to kill that streaming platform. That's
Well,
what they're gonna fucking do.
fun
they're
fact-
They're already.
We're
changing
talking
it.
about HBO Max, not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
yes,
'cause I'm like,
they're-
no one's killing Hulu. No one's
they're
taking
taking-
Bob's Burgers away from me.
Fun
They're
fact-
messing everything up. They really are.
This is Hulu's biggest hit, without question, by a mile, ever.
Not even
And-
close.
and primarily male audiences love it more.
more. Well, I mean, that's the demographic that are like attracted to these action flicks. And I just want to jump in, Charlie. So
Please, I'm
The,
sweating my bags off.
I see that. I see that. This was one of those movies where I'm loath to even use the term because the people out there who don't understand, and I'm being kind, who don't understand what it really means, well, it's a flag for them. But this movie was woke in the sense of it's pointing out shit that we already know, right? So let's go ahead and so Jay, I know that you hadn't watched it yet, but you get the premise. Obviously,
I've seen the first
this
two.
poor girl is like minding her business. She just wants to be a part. She doesn't want to be told what to do, which is very, very familiar in this current climate.
Especially by her older brother. Older brothers are the worst.
What the fuck, man? What the fuck? So, it just so happens that a predator comes like almost an answer to her prayers because now she can really show.
What
these
is he like?
motherfuckers
I heard you
who's-
call.
He's like,
Like this.
so just can you imagine? Since Charlie's already doing like a new soundtrack, Charlie, I want you to insert like a Jiminy Cricket fucking theme, like when you wish upon a star.
Can he be a
And the
And then he
tiny-
just
shows
comes
up.
down, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, the answer to my problems. A
Can
murderer."
he be a tiny alien?
She's
Like
just
the little
I
second
wish
mouth
I was
pops
a real
out?
boy. Like,
I
"Rah, rah, rah, fight me, bitch." So that all being said, and imagine a hypothetical situation where the predator doesn't get dropped off by the homies, and she never gets that wish fulfillment of like proving her fucking mettle. Can you imagine how many literally millions of fucking stories that would emulate? So you had mentioned before, Charlie, like, oh well, yeah, we like this stuff that we're familiar with. That's how we gotta fucking do these setups. You have to say, look, you're familiar with, to use the number we've been throwing around, 90% of this story. Ah, but where's the spoon? Here we're gonna throw in a fucking little twist. Oh, and here we're gonna throw in a second little twist, just for flavor. We're gonna knock it back 300 years, so the predator isn't exactly the predator that you're thinking of that was running up against fucking Riggs and Riggs or Murtaugh. What Riggs? I think he was running up against fucking Arnold. He was running up against Adrian Brody for some reason. I will never believe Adrian Brody. A fine actor, granted. I
Yes.
never want to see Adrian Brody as an action hero. Stop it.
So
Stop it.
are we pretending the last Predator movie didn't exist? Is this where we're
Yeah,
going with
largely. We're
I
even
think-
pretending that Alien versus Predator didn't exist because
that? Oh,
technically,
no, the first Alien versus Predator was actually pretty good.
actually,
All
the
right,
Alien versus
and
Predator
that's it for our
comic
guest
book.
this week. Let's all say
The
goodbye.
AVP comic book was actually dynamite. The
Yeah.
movies just were.
If you put Jason Mewes back in the film as opposed to his Wish knockoff, maybe I'll allow it to exist.
See, I like the first one because it had like a pretty kick-ass heroine.
well,
I don't know.
conceptually,
If you think that
it
was a kick-ass heroine,
strong.
Lose the
But
pants now,
that's-
pal.
No, she literally kicks him
It
out
doesn't
of the
work
ass.
that way for my people.
So like
Lose the
they
time.
Charlie, bro, come on, we don't have that much in petty cash, dude.
Welcome to our new podcast, Charlie learning about other types of relationships.
Hashtag Charlie. So, yeah, they lifted the concept straight from the comic book, and that's another example of something that I really, really want to dedicate almost an entire episode to, about like the wanton thievery that happens, and the issues that it creates when you don't give the comic book writer the proper credit, when you don't let them into the room when these projects become realities, because then
Agreed.
two things happen. The writer, who granted was playing with someone else's toys but made up the best fucking game that anyone's ever heard of, gets no credit, not financially or fucking praise worthy. And B, you end up with projects that are a hodgepodge of dynamite runs, that are a hodgepodge of a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and then you end up with a fucking mess. So, Alien vs.
Age of
Predator-
Apocalypse.
Age of Apocalypse is another example. Can you imagine fucking Moon Knight being wasted in a disaster like that? So,
Oh shit.
but that all goes back to the original point of, when you have a singular voice, that singular voice does not have to be, to mimic Charlie's point, does not have to be like, well, this happened to my cousin, this happened to my grandma. No, a predator did not attack anybody's fucking, ancestral lands. So you're not going to necessarily have that voice fucking telling the story. Had it happened today, something like what's that series?
Reservation.
Reservation. Yeah.
Dogs. If
fucking
if,
awesome.
series.
if fucking
It's amazing.
some Johnny Whitebread comes like, I've got this great project, I'm like, get out. That is not your story to fucking tell. This is something very, very fucking different. So yeah, you're right. There was the familial aspect of it. There was the I'll do a tiny spoiler moment. Dogs aside. No, this is okay, Jay. This is for you included.
There's
there is
a predator
moment,
in it.
There's a predator and shirtless men.
And
Good.
He's very,
Okay, I'm
he's
gonna go
very
see it.
angry. There's some French dudes. You like, kill the French guys. That's fine. There's a moment when our heroine ends up in like a fucking what were they called in Princess Bride? The fucking Swamp of Despair or something like that. Like,
Oh no, that was
Yeah.
a Never-Ending Story, The Swamp of Despair, where
That one's-
Artex died.
I'm still grieving that fucking horse.
I can't.
But so she ends up like neck deep in mud, and we're all sitting like, now she gonna be invisible to Predator because I saw the original, and this is a little cookie fucking just for me. And then she gets out. Spoiler. She gets out. She's like, let me go ahead and rinse myself over the bath, and we're all like, no! Like those type of little
Oh, it's the
yank
best.
aways, those are fucking great. Those supersede for me the jump scare moments in horror movies because you always see them coming. Charlie, you gotta agree with me. I never in a
John?
million years was like, nah, she's gonna go in the river and rinse off.
John?
She'll be just fine. She doesn't want to
You had
roll
to
into
do her
the fucking
Pocahontas,
teepee.
There
Oh my god! Oh my
there
god!
was like a pop-up of the director that just did one of these. Like, you fucking fell for it.
gotcha.
And it's not the only time.
Fooled you. I'm like, why
There's
is he
a-
even wearing a Darth helmet fucking in this moment?
They make a huge deal about a prop in the film. And if you know Predator lore, you're like, I know what happens in the third act. And even that, the director's like, do you? Oh, I
Well,
fucking love this guy.
I will say this. Charlie, did you stick around for the full
Oh,
credits?
fuck yes, I did.
So this is like Jay, you'll be the primary beneficiary of this, but truly this is for our watching and listening audience. First, mostly, you gotta watch this movie. It's dynamite. But when the movie ends, fast forward through the credits until you
Ignore
start
the
seeing,
hardworking people. But
they're fine. They got paid. John Hamm. So it's not in the Marvel sense. It's not in the Marvel sense where like there's a full scene. They don't go to shawarma or nothing like that. But you know how like credits in the wrap up, will often go to like a stylized animation or some kind of like visual depiction. My thought is always like, look, you can make it look as pretty as you want. I'm not still sitting here eating now stale popcorn and reading all these things. Fuck off. But in this case, it's worth it because what they do is they show it and they do it in that like an authentic-ish Comanche storytelling way, where they're like, it's basically they're retelling the story as in the future generations of her people were speaking about her like, oh, she did this, and then
This
this
bitch
fucking
rules.
tall
So it's not
leprechaun guy
like
showed
Frank
up.
Langella in Masters of the Universe popping up going, "I'll be back." No, it's not that.
No, this is far, far superior because first and first, mostly, he, like George Lucas, was a liar. But also,
Dolph
this is
Lundgren,
actually
I love.
entertaining. So yeah, so they in essence retell in the Comanche style, but then there's a little bit more to that art than what would have been if her story ended in that moment before credits started to roll. So do yourself a favor, stick around for at least that much, because with what was done in production and also as well as the obvious and undoubtable success that this flick has, there's absolutely going to be a sequel. There's
Now,
absolutely going to be.
Here's the thing. This is a stop what you're doing and watch it
Yeah.
situation, right? I'll give one asterisk in the next segment of a thing you're allowed to finish. But then the next thing up is Prey. I just want to address something. Cousin Paul over on YouTube did a pop-in. Why wasn't this awesome movie released theatrically? Now,
Yeah.
before we get to
I have an
that
answer
point,
to that.
which
My opinion.
I'll let
that.
you have your opinion. My opinion, though, which is just steeped in reality, there's a good chance that if this did go theatrically, they would have fucked it up. Because
In what way?
the higher the budget, the higher the expectation, you start spending a shit ton on ad money, you start having extra hands in the pot. So one thing from the previous segment we also lost was shit with smaller budgets. The director, the writers have more control. And this formula, when you watch
retain
Prey,
control.
it reeks of singular vision. Someone who loved Predator and loves Predator 2, which is like a skill, because that shit's hard to watch at times.
It is. But it's not a bad movie. It's
I
not
like
as bad
Not
as
Predator
bad.
2.
It only gets
Everything
it
afterwards.
only-
Donald
Skunk on
Glover?
Ice.
No, not Donald Glover. Danny Glover.
Predator 2 falls
I love
into
Donald
a
Glover, too.
long line of sequels that are hurt by how good their predecessor was.
Well, that's every
It's
sequel
someone
ever.
who loves the actual
It's-
IP
It's
and like
every fucking sequel other than Empire, and Godfather
it's the same
2.
thing. What's it called?
And-
Like the recent Ghostbusters one that relied a little bit too much on nostalgia, but it was still a good movie.
Debatable.
No?
I mean, no. Well, here's the thing. Like that is
Too much
debatable.
nostalgia,
However,
you son of a bitch. You're a guest on this
I'm a
show.
fan of nostalgia.
Any-
Don't get me wrong. I love me
any-
some nostalgia.
any of that accusation that might be thrown at it can automatically be kind of erased because of what immediately fucking came before it. Because the 2016 Ghostbusters, liked it or loved it, left such a bad taste in most. Charlie, oh, you remember you went to the premiere of it? Charlie's the biggest shit talker on this show. I'm the one that doesn't know that movie. I legitimately have never seen it. But that
Never
being
seen
said,
it.
Nah,
I mean-
it's terrible looking.
Don't
It just looked
don't you
bad.
fucking
It's
dare!
It's not a horrible
Shut
movie.
shut
It's
shut
not.
shut.
Charlie, just, you don't black him out. Just like dim his lighting a little bit. You can kill his mic. But no, what I'm saying is like there's a difference between like what if you're coming through with something that just was a fucking banger, like an unqualified banger. What you need to do is come even harder. And so something like Empire is a better example because Empire got dark. They came off of A New Hope and they're like, oh, you like that shit? We're gonna fucking get dark. Shockingly not directed by fucking Toy Boy.
Well, I mean, you could say the
that's
same thing with
reason.
the Khan. Wrath of Khan is the exact same scenario.
You can.
You
Absolutely.
go from the motionless
Darker,
picture to
absolutely.
Wrath of Khan,
a
which
little bit
basically
more chest hair, a little bit more accent.
little bit more-
However, some people when they use that conversation for like say Superman 1 and 2, or for probably even more appropriately Godfather 1 and 2, those movies were like filmed together. So it's not so much that there was a 1 and a 2. There was really like a very long one that was chopped in the middle by design. You know, they didn't just lose a fucking reel.
Well, Superman 2 also changed directors like midway through.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then we have the ever-changing Lois Lane hair throughout the entire movie.
They should just change the whole fucking Lois Lane and done us all a favor. But yes, but the Don that crazy bitch. The Donner cut.
She fell out of a helicopter for us.
I mean, look, and it's much appreciated. It's much appreciated because even as like 10 years old, I'm like, can I see up that skirt? What's going on? What's going on?
Meanwhile, I was like, that coat's ugly. So, you know, it's just the difference between the two of us.
Oh, my God.
That's how you found out.
She also had the accent where,
I love
even
those
as a
high-ass
child,
boots on soups.
I thought, I'm like,
Pirate
this is
boots
why
are awesome.
you're a newspaper lady, because that voice will go through anybody's fucking ears. But yeah.
You gotta remember, like, that was the 70s strong woman. But
Well, that was the 70s strong woman aspiration. Because the truth is, there weren't that many of those. There weren't that many of hers running around in the world at that point. They just weren't.
And even then, they were like,
they weren't behind the scenes characters either. They were like,
Yeah,
no,
she's
this is a shining star.
genius.
Push them to the front.
Genius reporter. She's strong. She's smart. She can't spell though, because bitch needs a flaw. Like,
Yeah, you gotta bring it down.
It's like such a weird detail.
you know, she can kick the crap out of you. Her dad was a Marine. She has problem with phonics, but like that's about it.
You could tie her up like an SMM early Wonder Woman fucking comic. Also, she can't read too good because it's those purple eyes. They are notoriously weak eye color. It's just how it is.
Bottom line for Prey, for anyone mourning
Take us home,
Batgirl, hop onto Hulu and just get a taste of
It's good. It's a good
an
flick.
ass kicking lady. And here's the thing for me, I've forever argued, action is amazing, people whooping ass is amazing. Make it a lady, I'm always more invested. Add an adorable badass dog. You had me at everything you did, Prey.
Real quick little asterisk. Charlie, for $1 American, do you know that dog actor's actual given name?
I don't.
Coco. Just the most adorable little
Coco, kill! No, just, you know.
I just
Coco,
need a
sick
minute.
balls! Sick predator balls!
Oh, now I want a live action Coco starring the fucking dog from Prey.
Dude, obviously, that
Coco,
dog
I bet he could do it
already
too.
has a role in Coco. Come on, dude. Coco starring Coco. But Charlie, we know exactly how Prey was made,
Yes.
produced, and released. We even know how they paid for it. So why don't you tell the good people at home how we handle our business here at USCC?
Oh, well, the important thing to start off with is we're not like other pods who sell out for any random brand that's willing to pay. No! Today we're brought to you by one of our absolute favorite bands, Bad Mary. You heard them during the intro. You're going to hear them again at the end of the show. Wondering where else you can catch their act? You can follow them over at Bad Mary Band across all social media platforms. You can support them over on patreon.com/Bad Mary Band. You can stay up to date over at badmary.com for merch and upcoming performances. But my absolute favorite part is that their entire discography is available on every single music streaming service.
Damn straight. And Charlie, with all that being said, I still have one question for you. Where are we dropping with Sergeant Finesse? You can find him gaming on both Trovo and Facebook. That's right, I said Trovo, Trovo. Multiple streams every day. Outstanding video game content. Supporter games, co-streams, giveaways, contests. Don't be a sucker. Check him out today. But, and that's a big J-Lo but, if you need a pick-me-up, go ahead and follow the White Rabbit over to SneakEnergy.com. Use code SGT at checkout. When the Sergeant's on deck, you salute. GG, son. It's really good.
I think I did the wrong hand.
Word. I liked it.
We're not,
John.
We'll just say it's because you're in the camera, you're on your phone, it like flips it around. That's fine. We got excuses for days.
I do love the name Bad Mary. That was my nickname on Fire Island. It was.
Oh, Cody. I hope Cody has turned off the
No,
sound.
I'm sleeping in the street tonight, basically. I'm sleeping in the fucking street.
Oh,
I
my
get it.
God. But look, you know, the truth of the matter is this. with all of the bad news, with the bad look, that with the stink that's coming off of DC's fucking like just withered corpse right now, because they've been taking a beating from Marvel now for so fucking long. Then they have Warner Brothers. Charlie's dead. Charlie's down. Charlie down.
Oof. I was just having a crazy dream.
It's all right. It's all right.
Good
But
segue.
with Warner Brothers Discovery doing the voodoo that they do, DC is really fucking suffering, and DC projects are really, other than us, the fans, the projects themselves are the ones that are really suffering. So, it's good to see when a DC product rolls out to not just great acclaim, but also to great viewership. Because over on Netflix right now, you can see Neil Gaiman's masterpiece playing out in 4-color high-def glory. The Sandman has dropped, and look, I'm a big now I am, because I'm selfish, I'm impatient. We all know this. When I can sit down and watch the entirety of something, if it's my choosing, because I'm an American, get damn it, I know that it's available to me. Don't make me sit around and wait like a monster from week to week. Just to spite you, I will wait till the entire run of something is done so I can watch it all in just like a fucking coma haze. If that's what I damn well want to do, is my God-given right. But yes, John is happy boy because the Sandman dropped in its entirety, all of season 1. And look, I'll be honest with you, as a huge fan. I mean, first, mostly of Neil Gaiman himself. The guy's a fucking angel sent to earth. It's probably why he loves writing about him so much. He's like, I went to school with this motherfucker. He owes me $5. I only write this. But also, as well as, he has put out so much material that I'm a huge fan of that has not, sadly, translated the way I would have wanted to. Friend of the show, Ashley Reyes, she joined us when she first joined the cast of American Gods, and we talked about it. And look, there are some things for Neil Gaiman specifically that is very difficult to adapt. I'm in a running, ongoing argument over fucking Daredevil himself's first big turn with Stardust. I'm like, no, that movie could have been this, could have been that. He's like, that's fucking great. We'll leave names out. We don't need to name drop that. But I was very, very concerned, let's say, right? Like a concerned fucking uncle about the Sandman, because this has been one of those, this has been material that people in the know for the longest time have been saying, this is amazing, this is one of the best things ever, unadaptable. It is unadaptable material. And look, I'm a buyer, so I'm a believer. And I said, look, if they're saying it, they must be smarter than me. They're in the business. I was very, very worried.
I was not so worried because I don't know if you guys saw Toothless.
Of course.
And that was great. I loved it. I thought they did a good adaptation to it. I mean, yeah, slightly, there were some issues. But Netflix did a good job. And then it's
such a huge undertaking, though. That's the other thing.
I mean, this was a masterpiece.
The Toothless of it put aside, it was huge. And I have a theory as to the reason why. Look, from a huge Sandman fan, I don't think I could have asked for very much more. No, I could have. I could nitpick almost every damn thing. And when I listen to this replay, you guys will all know about it. But I mean, largely, we throw the number out constantly, so I'll do it again. I was 90% absolutely satisfied, and that it's a rarity. That's a number that is not seen very often, especially in the streaming world. Charlie, what did you think?
I was a fucking emotional wreck through every episode. I was overwhelmed to see a creator I respect get something that can only be described as his fiction, his dream, materialized. And my only concern
Were your
Because
pants?
of the two of us, John, my pants long
Yes.
gone.
Did they fly off?
Foof, They literally like became sand. I'm like, oh fuck,
And they're like,
am I a creation and shit? Did John really dream me up?
That's Charlie's Mark Ruffalo moment. He's like, "That's my secret sugar bear. My pants are always off."
That's true. That's why I'm
Ugh.
only ever nipples up in frame. This is a cut-off shirt, pants gone.
Thanksgiving is very, very awkward.
must be
Well,
fun at your
I am
house.
who I am. My first feeling was, oh my god, this guy got everything he deserved with this masterwork. I watched 10 hours in a row instead of sleeping because I couldn't turn it off. My one thought was like, this guy they don't have access to the DC characters. So like so many stories have characters that are beloved to me, or at worst, I know them and I know they should be in the stories. When slight spoiler, I guess, when Joanna Constantine showed
Which
up,
I never knew that was the pronunciation. I'm like, I've been fucking up this whole time.
my nipples became akin to rockets and they followed my pantaloons out the window. And then I was like, I'm like, okay, well, they gender swapped it. They clearly can't have the background story. Guess what, motherfuckers? It's motherfucking Constantine!
And Charlie
and the actress who
that
plays her.
mother of fuckers.
And the actress who played her from Doctor Who, it was
Dynamite. It was
amazing. And they
was
talked.
inspired casting.
By the time Death showed up, the only time I paused in 10 hours, other than to pee and let the dogs out, Death, they recreated a scene. I'm going to
She's
leave this
awesome.
out, but they recreated a scene straight from the pages from my favorite Sandman arc.
Multiple times they did that
But-
exact
They did a
panel
lot of- yeah.
reproduction.
There
It
is a
was-
specific recreation that brought me to my emotional end. The comic makes me cry. The show eviscerated me to see it brought to life. I can't even imagine the feelings people must have who don't know the source material, because I think it might be more impactful if you don't know what's happening next. Because again, I was a blubbering mess. I think episode 5 or 6.
What was the seed, man?
I don't want to give it away.
Yeah, you
There's
can't.
a scene.
Just give it the overall, like, because even
There's
I've
a scene that
watched it
that
several times
begins
now.
with a mother.
Oh
Okay.
shit, that one. Okay, that was.
I know what was gonna happen. Snot bubble.
I was like, pan for the door, pan for the door.
Jameson walked over to me like I was stabbed. My dog was so concerned about my
Shit, bitch,
emotional.
what's wrong with you?
I literally cuddled him for like 10 minutes and had to pause the fucking show.
Yeah.
And then I rewatched the scene because I was just like, I deserve to feel all the feelings.
So the actress and she's actually was at the I wouldn't say like at the crux of the hubbub prior to the show being released, but she was definitely like hub adjacent. Kirby Howell Baptiste. She plays Death, and for anyone who doesn't know, well, if you don't know the comic, the way that Death is portrayed in the comic is basically like a fucking
A
kid
white
in
goth girl.
1992, just walking out of Hot Topic,
Listening
she,
to
yeah,
Tori
like,
Amos.
is the Ankh is like really what's most identifiable to her, like as far as like separating her from any random pale goth kid. Like, was she in The Cure? No. So Miss Howell Baptiste, a British actress, she is a lady of color, which I'm still not comfortable using. I would say like, oh, she's not African American because she's from the UK. Like are we allowed to say she's black? Because a person of color still sounds a little bit too much like fucking calling a person colored. Like
yeah.
I was Archie Bunker. Like it's a little too on the nose there. But
The color her skin
irregardless,
most closely resembles is
she
black.
has she doesn't look like the character does in the comics.
No.
That's what I'll say. So
But-
there was all this hubbub about it. This woman, I can only describe it as like the scene from The Natural, where like it's just hot as hell, and my man he's strolling up to the fucking plate, and he knows what has to happen at the plate. Team is down, opposite team a pitcher is throwing fire, and stepping up to the plate. You know what needs to be done, and there is just like a nanosecond where Robert Redford does like one of these because it's a hot summer night, so there's like gnats, I'm sure, and he just does like a very almost like not even aware of it, like, hey, get these fucking gnats on my face. I got business to attend to, son. That is what I can only imagine was happening in this woman's mind, because all of that bullshit. Oh, it doesn't look like the character. Blah blah blah. What is it? Woke up. Blah blah blah. She said, hold on 1 second. I mean, she probably said it with a far more attractive accent than mine, but she said, hold my beer, son, and she fucking swatted those gnats out of the sky and smacked a home run that still has not landed. They're talking about giving her her own spinoff.
I would be like, I'm a huge
Oh my god.
I loved the Death series before I got into Dream. So I knew about Death before.
Oh, really? Really?
And, oh, yeah, I was
That's
a huge Death.
interesting.
I'm a huge Death fan.
Sure.
Things you don't want to say.
Fucking Jay.
That's fucking metal as hell.
Jay is a dark motherfucker.
But I loved, and when I didn't give a shit who was playing her. Like, this actress came out and fucking nailed it.
Unbelievable. She nailed it.
The funny thing is we had just heard the Batgirl news prior to watching it. I'm just gonna.
Death was good,
so
though.
I'm gonna preface. Just let me something. Finding a show that the boy and I can watch together is hard. I've tried to introduce him to so many series. He gets 3 episodes in and he's like, nah, I don't want it. You know. So this was like the first thing we watched like together, and we watched together as a couple. And
That's
when we
amazing.
saw the Warner Brothers logo come on, we both audibly went,
Oh,
like,
God.
we were so pissed.
Unbelievable.
But this show, not only for representation for people like me, because is that a spoiler if I say the show's it's a little
not
gay.
at all.
It's a hella gay.
He's like, there's death, there's magic, there's like people getting locked up. He's like, yeah, it's super gay.
Super
Sure,
gay.
why not?
John hasn't watched episode 11 yet. It just gets fucking freaky.
But it was nice to be
A lot of this.
You know, a lot of this. Even though like the villains were mostly this, but it was the gentleman that plays Dream Morpheus is fantastic.
He's
Tom
awesome.
Sturridge?
Sorry, John.
I do not think he's real. I think they just.
put
I
in
don't
a
think
turn.
he
from
is.
the
I
comic.
think they do something to him.
He put in a turn.
His assist, the crow Matthew.
Matthew.
Matthew is one of my favorite parts.
I want.
I used to have thumbs. No, I got these things.
Thumbs. Now I have these things.
I want the Matthew.
Fuck it, let's go to hell.
Mervyn Pumpkinhead, buddy cop adventure like that. Just one episode will be enough. There's just this series.
But even the actress who
it's
plays the
so
librarian, she is
giving. Dynamite, and I loved her ears. Like I'm one of those type of viewers that even like with the Vulcan of it all, I'm always like, how are these ears? Did they do a good job on the ears? Because that stuff takes me right out of it. She was dynamite. She was just
the casting
dynamite.
was all dead on. I had
And
one weird casting issue, but
But here's the thing: it's even better than 90%, which is the number. We should have called this episode 90%.
90%.
But look, I mean, to be able to walk out and to say, like almost like gun to your head to nitpick, that's where I was, because there's always something, and the funny thing is, the three of us sitting here, we're all kind of creators in our own right, so we're always gonna have that little voice like, that was really great. You know what would have been like even better? That's what we do, and that's a good thing, because look, that's who these people are. So to that point, Jay, when you have people who are creating a project, and Charlie says this on more than one occasion, you can clearly see the distinction in a creation when the creators love the material.
Exactly, they love the IP.
There's a whole fucking different race, the whole different animal. of a project where the person's like just doing it. That's the difference between Clerks 3 and Cop Out. It's a huge fucking difference. What were we gonna say, Jay?
I was going to talk about. It's not really a spoiler, but the mini Angelica Houstons. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Of course,
I
yeah, of course.
was
of
like,
course.
I
we don't know if
I'm
they're
like,
sisters. We don't know if they're
we don't know if they're
lovers,
sisters.
we
What are
don't
they?
know if they're...
That was like, it was so Angelica Houston. I sat there and I was like, this guy is a fan of the macabre. It's the Sturm and Drang.
And just the way that it needed to be, and the fact that they kept Neil Gaiman right there, like just over the shoulder, and they were asking questions because look, when you have the creator of the source material so available to you, you listen to those fucking voices. You listen to that input. I mean, it was just a dynamite show. I can't wait for the second season.
So to back.
Are they definitely doing a second? I'm sorry, Charlie.
Oh yeah, this thing made
it's like number one on Netflix.
Eyeballs.
It's just awesome.
I don't know how to quantify streaming services.
We're running out of time. So
just real lightning quick. So in Prey, there's a striking visual in one of the posters. It's what I used in the segment. If you watched on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook when we were live, it's the Predator
how Charlie
blood
promotes while making a point at the same time.
It's the Predator blood.
He calls it the twofer.
It's the Predator blood kind of making camouflage on our protagonist's face. That's one of those visuals that was clearly in the writer's mind and the director's mind, and it wasn't interrupted. Everything about Sandman is so true to its source material, to the point of things that are questionable are because of the source material. There's one negative review I was able to find, because I love frustrating myself on Twitter, where someone was like,
glutton for punishment.
He must have loved the Catwoman reviews.
Unbelievable.
Oh, it's the best.
If you put your pants on every once in a while,
No,
it would
I will
kind of
not.
somewhat
I will
nullify
not
the
do it.
masochism.
Well,
but this person wrote the dumbest shit I've ever read on Twitter, which is saying
Tell us
about that.
Wrote a pentagram on the gates of hell. Isn't that a bit on the nose? Fucking yes, asshole!
It's hell.
It's fucking hell, and hell is metal as fuck. That's what's cool about it, you dumb shit.
When
Also,
I get to hell, if there's not a hot topic signage on the gate, I will be thoroughly surprised.
With
May
fucking-
I say, even disappointed.
with Dream
I have
wanting
a
to
condo
sign you
there,
up for
so
hot
I'm
cash.
all set to go. I'm like, fuck it.
The weirdest part for me, my favorite part, and then I'll kick it back to you, gentlemen.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap.
Because the fact that they were able, Sandman has this striking style of word bubble where it's a black word bubble with white writing.
Yeah.
And in my head, I always read it in a very specific way. And I was so curious if they were even going to try, because it almost seems too corny to give someone like spooky voice. This motherfucker, I don't think this actor's a person. I truly think he's been ripped from the pages, because it sounds exactly like what I imagined, which wasn't how the audiobook did it. This guy somehow went into my brain and stole this very unique style of speaking and this very unique tone. Fucking knocked my socks off. I was
It was
butt
amazing.
naked
It was
by the end of the
he
show.
was.
So when you have a series called The Sandman, you have to start with your Morbius. You have to start with your dream, and from there, like if that casting was not a 10, then it almost doesn't matter what happens afterwards. It can only go down from there anyway. The thing I want to leave us with is the other part of the hullabaloo prior to the series dropping, which, you know, when you're already like a little bit skittish about something, you don't need the whispers, you know, all around you fucking just feeding into that nonsense. The other bit of casting, and I love this actor. I absolutely love her. I've been a huge fan of hers since I was first introduced to her in Game of Thrones. When they cast Gwendolyn Christie
Yes.
as Lucifer Morningstar, I said, voices, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear it, because my mind, like, instantly placed her into those scenes
She was
that Lucifer has with fucking Dream, And I was like, yep, yep, perfect. I can see it. I could see it. I could see it. And then, like, just like Charlie's voice in his head, when I saw it, I was like, yep, that's exactly how I imagined it. Ah, chef's kiss.
See, I didn't give it a chef's kiss because I had one small issue. Her fucking bangs. I'm sorry. I know it's humid in hell. Brush those suckers
man,
away. I want to see the Gwendolyn
Those
Christie
were
face.
angelic as fuck.
They were like it was
I think
Betty
those are
White's
like
wig. They put it on her head and said, "Now
her
you're in hell."
her wilted horns. She's like,
Her
God
wilted
damn,
meh.
it's humid as a fuck up in
Like
here.
seriously, I'm like, just pin them. Where's your gay friend that's just gonna be like, we're gonna make you look fabulous?
The truth of it is, when you have a 7-foot tall woman in satanic boots, the hairdresser can't even get up that high.
She's like,
girl,
fuck it, the wig's on her head.
Whatever's happening up there
just threw it up there.
That's a whole different hemisphere up there. I'm not gonna touch it, but as we all know, for those of us who have finished the series, the Lucifer Morbius fucking round 2 is just around the corner. And Charlie, you made reference of, and I would not have, so thank you for reminding me. The radio play, the audible version of this, should have put my mind at rest that absolutely it was adaptable, because Charlie and I made a joke about like keeping this spoiler free as much as possible, and I gave it a moment. I'm gonna quote myself because that's what I do.
I love this quote.
I said, Charlie, have you ever tried to explain to someone verbally a fucking Sandman plot? Like, we could tell everybody here exactly verbatim what happens on every minute of every episode, and they'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? And still have to go and watch it themselves. So, that all being said, the radio play audible version of it was so great that immediately I should have said, you know what, John? Stop being such a little bitch. Let them adapt what they want to adapt and just sit there and watch it and love it, because that's what you're going to do. And God damn it, if I didn't love the comics, if I didn't love the audible version, if I did not love this Netflix adaptation, that would just make me a George Lucas, because I'd be fucking lying. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it.
You were
fuck that no chin having motherfucker. I loved it. I loved it. Guys, this has been, we ran long, but who the fuck cares? We do what we want to do. We're adults. Guys, thank you, Jay. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Hopefully, Barbara won't have any more bad news, and you can come on again as a guest with more happy topics. Charlie, you were okay. I will give you a 7.5. But just do us all a favor. Tell the good people how we wrap up this show that we do every weekend, would you?
Oh, I'm gonna, because first you gotta turn the power on. Then you gotta turn that volume up. Tune Bad Marion. Open up the window wide and scream out into the night sky. Save me, Space Girl!